So, in this video, I will talk about some latest events that happened in Tokyo Revengers. So, Hanagaki visited Draken after he traveled back to the past. Takemichi arrives at the bike shop that Draken has started and it's called D&D Motor. Draken gets up from the bike he is working on and that bike is CB250. Draken told Hanagaki that he just finished fixing. Takemichi realizes that it's Mikey's bike. Then Draken and Takemichi go out for a test drive together. While out on their drive, Hanagaki told Draken that he came back from the future. He said this time his mission is to save Mikey. Draken's facial expression changed and he told Hanagaki that Mikey descended into the darkness. He says that Mikey has changed and will not hesitate to kill Takemichi if he ever saw him. Takemichi confirms this claim by thinking back to how Mikey mercilessly shot him twice in the future. Suddenly, a voice calls out to Draken, telling him to run. It is Inui, whose face is fresh with bruises, and he is being held with one hand by someone riding a bike. Then that person throws Inui into the air. Takemichi tries to brake, but cannot do so in time. Luckily though, Inui is able to land on the ground without getting any serious injuries. Then that guy also stops. Draken takes a close look at him and recognizes him to be Toronto South, who is the representative of Rokuhara Tandai. South is an extremely tall guy, he's even bigger than Draken. Then suddenly, numerous bikers abruptly arrive, surrounding Takemichi, Draken, and Inui. All those bikers are members of his gang. Draken, Hanagaki, and Inupi got surrounded by his gang members. South then came close to Draken and he gave Draken an offer to partner up with him. But then Draken confirms that Inupi is relatively uninjured. Then Draken told South that he will never join Rokuhara Tandai because he retired from gang life. Hearing this, South punches Draken in his face. This impact sends Draken flying away. South angrily tells Draken that he will never forgive him if he decides to retire, attributing Toman's strength to Draken's presence. South continues punching Draken repeatedly. South keeps punching him while exclaiming musical terms. Takemichi sees the assault as unfair since Draken has retired from fighting and Draken was not fighting back. He wonders if Toronto is a monster. With Draken on the ground, Toronto tells him that they had the same ideals and it is to make a new era for delinquents. He said he traveled to Tokyo to defeat Toman. Continuing, he tells Draken that retiring is unforgiving, explaining that the strongest retain their position until they are defeated. After declaring that it is a dog-eat-dog world, Toronto presents Draken with an ultimatum: work under him or die. He then turns to Hanagaki, addressing him as Toman's former 1st Division captain. Standing in front of him, South warns Hanagaki that he is next. As Hanagaki panics, a Rokuhara Tandai member is thrown at their feet. Brahman's vice president, Takeyomi Akashi, came there. He was also Black Dragon's 1st generation vice captain. Toronto tells him not to ruin the fun. Akashi has brought a big number of Brahman members with him who have already started fighting Rokuhara Tandai. Takemichi panics as the two powerhouses face each other. As Akashi and Toronto face off, rain starts falling. Akashi surprises everyone by saying that his business coming here is not to fight Rokuhara Tandai, but to scout Takemichi Hanagaki. His proposal is cut off by Kikucho, who has become Toronto's subordinate. Akashi questions why he decided to join Rokuhara Tandai after the death of his king, Izana Kurakawa. Kikucho shoots back by mentioning Shinichiro Sano, whom Akashi used to serve when he was the vice president of the 1st generation of Black Dragons. The tension between the two heightens until Kanji Mochizuki, Shion Madaram, Rand Hitani, and Rindo Hitani all appear as members of Rokuhara Tandai. Hanagaki is frightened to see all former members of Tenjiku and the worst generation in Rokuhara Tandai. But Akashi remains strangely calm. Akashi remarks how nice it is to be young, casually asking someone named Senju for confirmation. Suddenly, a hooded figure charges into the center. He throws an umbrella at Toronto, who reacts quickly to hit it aside. Toronto takes too long to figure out that the object is an umbrella, allowing the hooded figure to jump up into the air and deliver a kick to Toronto's head. The delinquent flips back onto the ground, telling Takemichi to pick up his umbrella, who does so quickly. He opens the umbrella, saying that he does not want to get wet. Kikucho identifies him as Brahman's leader, Senju Kawaragi. Senju takes off his hood and announces the start of a fight. Senju Kawaragi stands face to face with South Toronto. Toronto said he is getting little nervous. At this moment, Shion Mataram decides to intervene, challenging Senju. Senju has no idea who he is, and Shion starts to introduce himself as the 9th generation leader of Black Dragons. But he is knocked out in a single punch by someone. Similar to what happened in the Toman vs Tenjiku battle. That person warns Shion for soiling the good name of Black Dragon, and Inupi introduces him to be a founding member and former captain of the legendary first generation of Black Dragon gang. And he is known as Benkei. Benkei loudly tells Senju that the mission today is to recruit Takemichi Hanagaki, not start a fight, to which Senju complains that he is too loud. Kikucho decides to move, running towards Benkei and throwing him several meters away with a punch. Then he proceeds to invite Takemichi to Rokuhara Tandai. Akashi is impressed by Kikucho's strength and Toronto agrees with him. However, Akashi calls toward a person he calls Waka, and a mysterious long-haired figure silently appears behind Kikucho, startling him. The figure casually disregards Kikucho, claiming that he would have been dead if he cared enough. Inupi gravely introduces the long-haired man as Wakasa Amashi, who is also a founder and former captain of Black Dragon's first generation. Inupi told him Akashi is known as the god of war. These three fought alongside Shinichiro Sano. As Brahman's top brass gather, Inupi remarks that these three are living legends. And previously, along with Shinichiro, they led the #1 gang in Japan. And now they have gathered under the unmatched Senju Kawaragi. Then suddenly Draken breaks the moment by dismissing these comments, lauding the Black Dragon founders. He directly challenges Toronto South to finish the fight they started. Draken said, "It's been a while since this engine has gotten heated up, and now let's get the party started." So, what do you guys think about Toronto South and Senju? Do you like these new gangs and their leaders or not? We got to see some new characters and some old characters. And it looks like this final arc of Tokyo Revengers is easily going to be the best arc. I have many questions about the characters and the plot of Tokyo Revengers. But I will discuss them in some other video.